Okay, good morning. So we are at Valles Caldera National Preserve in New Mexico. We're about 2 hours southwest of Taos, about an hour from Santa Fe. And this is not a national park, but it is federal land, a national preserve. There is a historic cabin district here that we're going to tour. You have to get a backcountry pass to do that, although it was pretty easy to get. You just walk up and ask for it. I think there's a limited number issued per time, at one time, but we're here right about 9 o'clock in the morning at when they first opened, and there are not very many folks right here. Interesting story about how to get here, and you might look in the background behind me. You probably will see some prairie dogs. I can hear them and see a few of them scurrying around, so we'll keep that on. Try to focus on the prairie dogs and not on me, certainly. To get here, you have to want to get here. It's kind of off the beaten path. We went through Los Alamos, which, as you may know, was a pretty vital area during the Manhattan Project back during World War II. Development of the atomic bomb, and in fact, to get to this site, you have to drive through Los Alamos National Laboratory property. There was a checkpoint, a little intimidating. You stop at the checkpoint, you show some ID, you're given specific instructions once you're cleared to go through, told not to take any photographs, but we cleared that okay, and now we're at the National Preserve. So we're going to go on into the cabin backcountry tour. There's some supposed to be some pretty cool historic cabins here, and one in particular that is of interest. So without further ado, let's head that way. Okay, so we're driving down the gravel road here to the cabin district, but I wanted to stop here and just show you some of the scenery. Just got some beautiful valleys and meadows here. On both sides of the road as we head into the cabin district. Just really beautiful country here. Doesn't look like what you would expect of New Mexico. We're at higher elevation. We're about 8,500 feet. So we came up, we're about 15 miles from Los Alamos, which I believe was around 5,500 feet. So we came up 3,000 feet in elevation pretty quickly. Temperature dropped quite a bit from about 60 degrees to about 45 degrees, and you certainly see a number of dead trees, probably pine beetle or something like that, but just some beautiful, kind of stunning country here. It looks a little bit like some of the valleys that you'll see in the meadows up in Yellowstone National Park. So we're going to continue down the road here as we head towards the cabin district. Okay, we're in the cabin district now, and we're stopping here at the first cabin. This is actually the oldest cabin in the preserve. Dates back to the early 1900s, 1915. The oldest standing log structure on the preserve. So a little bit about the history here. So this property has been in the hands of several different families over the years before it finally came to be in the hands of the federal government and the National Park Service. Originally back in the 1800s, when this was all part of Mexico, this property became owned by the Baca family. And they used it primarily for a sheep ranch. It then passed through different ownership. New Mexico actually became a state in 1912. The structures that we'll see here are part of the Baca Ranch, and so they were all built mainly between the 1920s, 1940s time frame. It continued to be used as a sheep ranch, also a cattle ranch, also horses, and I believe there was some mining on the property as well. There are a number of cabins here. We're going to do a little self-guided walking tour on these. So we saw this is the Otero cabin. This is the cabin built in 1915. Next to it is the commissary, which it's a little bit disputed according to the literature as to when it was built, but their best guess is 1941. So next up is the Bond cabin, also known as the Big House. It served, according to the literature, it served as the seasonal home for the Bond family when they owned the ranch and was the official ranch headquarters. We're limited on our tour to outside only. We're not allowed to go into any of the cabins, and I believe they are all locked, but of course we'll try the doors just in case. Again, as you can see, if this was your seasonal home, look at these tremendous views you would have. Just beautiful country here. There's a few more cabins. There's one in particular I want to show you. So you may be getting a little bored by now saying, geez, these are just cabins. But the next one is of particular significance, so hang in there for that one. So this is the ranch foreman's cabin. According to the literature, it was built in 1918 and was actually continually used by the ranch up until the early 2000s. Now, if you're a fan of the TV show Longmire, and why wouldn't you be, you might say, wait a second, I think I've seen that cabin before. Well, you're right. This was the cabin that was Walt Longmire's cabin, used in the filming of the hit show Longmire. Such a hit show that in fact they canceled it and then Netflix picked it back up for the final 3 or 4 seasons. Now, if you haven't seen Longmire, you're looking at this and you're probably saying, well, I don't get it. So if you haven't seen Longmire, pause this video, go to Netflix, stream the first, I don't know, season or 2 of Longmire, then come back, look at this video, and then you'll recognize the cabin and you'll think about all the scenes that were shot here. Speaking of shot, Walt, of course, got shot here, and I won't give any spoilers away, but a lot of things happened here at this cabin. It's not hard to imagine Walt's Bronco being parked right up here. And if you remember, one of the great things about this cabin was Walt would sit on his cabin with his whiskey, or maybe his Diet Pepsi, I'm not sure, and he'd look out and he'd have this just tremendous view. And you'll also remember that this, of course, is the area where the developers were trying to turn this into a golf course. So again, just a few spoilers there, I suppose, from the show. But again, if you haven't seen the show, I really don't know what's wrong with you. It's a great show. We're talking a cowboy sheriff driving a Bronco, solving crimes in Wyoming. This was the show was set in Wyoming, but actually filmed in New Mexico. And there are a number of sites around here. Santa Fe, a number of scenes were shot in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Others were shot in Las Vegas, New Mexico, not to be confused with Las Vegas, Nevada. That's actually, I think, where some of the town square scenes were shot. So we're going to go on up. We're going to have a seat here on Walt's cabin. Maybe Walt will come out and greet us, and we're just going to enjoy the views. So we can't go inside Walt's cabin. We will peek in the windows. As you can see, it looks a little bit different than from the TV show. So, I'm assuming that the inside shots of the cabin were not actually shot here. One little known fact, though, you wouldn't have expected this of Walt, but apparently Walt had a satellite dish and dish TV. So wouldn't really have expected that of a simple man like Walt, but what do you know? So one more shot here just from Walt's property of valley, meadow, right across the gravel road here. Just tremendous. We got 2 cabins left on the tour. This one is known as the Red Office, built in 1951. Used to house 2 employees of the Bond family who owned the ranch at that time, Ruby and Robert Houlihan. Robert was a driver. Ruby was the caretaker for the Bond's children. And it looks like a pretty simple cabin, no indoor plumbing. They've got an outhouse, but just like our buddy Walt Longmire, they got views. Can't beat that. That's tremendous. And this is the final cabin on our tour. It is the Cowboy Cabin, also constructed in 1951 by the Bond family. Built this for their ranch employees Sam Hill, his wife Bertilla, and their 2 children. And apparently it was built because Sam complained about the Red Cabin, the Red Office, being built for the Houlihans. So he wanted his own cabin for his family, and they got it. Again, pretty simple structure, although it does say there was a generator that provided power to all the houses, but it got shut off at 9 o'clock every night. This building also served from time to time as a bunkhouse for cowboys on the ranch. Simple structure, but it comes with all this. If you're not a fan of this sort of country, well, you've probably tuned into the wrong channel, because we're going to showcase a lot of this any chance we get. So that concludes our walking tour of the cabin district. The gravel road here that you see goes on for about 12 miles. So we're going to drive that and see what there is to see. I'm told there's some hiking trails and some more beautiful country out there, so we'll do that. But this will conclude this video. As I walk back to my vehicle, just a couple of words about the fact that you're now seeing this on YouTube. How about that? So you may have asked yourself, hey, how is it that a guy who doesn't even use social media now has a YouTube channel? It's a good question. Until a couple of days ago, I didn't even know what a YouTube channel was. And to be honest, I'm still not real sure today. I'm probably about a C+ when it comes to technology. So that's why you get some of the glitches that you get with the videos. You might ask yourself, well, is this going to change things now that we've gone big time and we were using YouTube? If I'm a subscriber, am I going to have to pay to see this exciting and beautiful content? And the answer is no. This is all still completely free to you. We don't have a Patreon account or anything like that where we're asking you to contribute. We're giving this to you all for free. And again, this is just some of what you get on this channel. Your other question might be, well, okay, now that we're on YouTube, can we expect, maybe a different quality, maybe some more technology, maybe some animation, maybe even music? Absolutely not. You're going to get the same low budget, low quality, sort of raw, naked footage. Well, not naked footage, but raw footage that you've seen in the other videos. The only thing that's changing is just an easier way to distribute the videos to all those subscribers who are out there. At last check, we were up to 7. Our goal is to get to double digits. So if you know someone that might appreciate this, hey, maybe get them to subscribe, and we'll see if we can push past the double-digit mark. At any rate, that concludes this video. I do want a shout out to one of our subscribers, Caitlin, who told us how to splice together these videos without ads, so they're going to have to post 10 videos of the same tour. We'll be able to put these all together. So thanks to her for that. Thanks for watching.